Hello again, students, and welcome back to Miss Bullock's Flipped Classroom. As you may remember, in one of the previous videos, we talked about rhetoric and rhetorical strategies. One of the rhetorical strategies that we'll be talking about today will be repetition. Now, for the most part, everyone says, oh, I know what repetition is, but let's go ahead and get a good example, a good definition out of the way, and then we'll get an example. So, repetition is a word or phrase that's used 2 or more times in a very short distance of each other, okay? Very close together. So, here would be an example. If these are different words in a sentence, then here and here, that's repetition. So, let's look at a real example. There's one of the most famous speeches in American history. I'm sure you know it. It's called the Gettysburg Address, and it was given by Abraham Lincoln after the Battle of Gettysburg during the Civil War. In that very short, by the way, speech, it's only 3 paragraphs long, and it's only 9 sentences long. In total, it's 272 words, and that includes all the these, a's, and n's. He uses the word dedicate or dedicated 6 times. Now that's a lot of repeating of that. Why in the world would he choose to do that? Well, he was actually there to dedicate Gettysburg as a national burial ground because so many soldiers had died there. In fact, let's take another look at another one of the pieces because he uses repetition more than just with dedicate. So let's look. This is a portion from a sentence from the actual speech. That from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. And of course it would go on. But you notice how very soon after using devotion, he uses it again. That's repetition. And he does that purposely. Now, many of you are saying at this point, okay, well, if he's doing it purposely, why? So, let's take a look at actually what repetition does. 1, it repeats key ideas and details. That's very important. 2, it builds the telos, the purpose. And 3, it reinforces the main idea. Those are 3 big things because you want people to understand what it is you're saying, why you're saying it, and you want to make sure that any key ideas or details come through. So, what does repetition do for you? It'll do one of a couple of things. It depends on what role you're in. If you're in the audience role, it's going to identify key ideas and details for you. This is the kind of stuff that you get asked to do on end of course exams or NC final exams. Also, it's going to ask you to determine the author's purpose. Again, something that you're going to see on the test. And it also helps to explain the main idea, how it's built. Not just the main idea, but how the author builds it. Again, a big one for the exams. Now, for you, if you are the speaker or the writer, of course that would be something you would have to do for my test or my project. It's going to highlight key ideas and details. So you use it to make sure you're highlighting, to make sure people get the idea that you're trying to go for. You use it to support your purpose. So, if you're trying to convince someone of a certain thing, you're going to use repetition in order to support that. And then also, you're going to use it to build your statement, okay? Your big idea, your main idea that you want them to have, your statement. This thing is good, this thing is bad. You're going to use that to build it. Repetition is a wonderful thing. And in fact, we often remember what we repeat the most. So it makes a wonderful rhetorical device. Okay, well, I'll see you in class, and we'll be playing with repetition. Don't forget to study for your vocab quiz. I'll see you soon.